Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something I think we can all relate to from our school days, teacher humor.
Yeah, it's definitely a familiar topic,
We're looking at a really interesting piece of research today. It's called a scoping review.
which basically means it maps out the existing research landscape on a topic, sort of a bird's eye view.
Exactly. And this one focuses on how and why teachers use humor with students aged, 11 to 18, so teenagers, basically.
Right, that adolescent group.
Mhm.
And this review pulled together findings from 43 separate studies.
43. Wow.
Yeah, quite a few. So our mission today in this deep dive is really to understand what all this research, when put together, tells us about teachers using humor with teens.
And crucially, what effects that humor might actually have on their learning, their social development, all of that.
Because, as the review points out, teachers do use humor. A lot, it seems.
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember some jokey teachers. Some better than others.
Hey, right. Yeah. But the surprising thing is, we don't actually have a super clear picture of how all that joking around impacts this specific age group, adolescents. The research is a bit, well, patchy there.
That seems odd, doesn't it, given how important those years are?
It really is. Adolescence is such a key time for developing social skills, academic skills, you name it. And, humor could be a fantastic tool for teachers.
Could be.
But, as this review highlights, it could also potentially be detrimental if it's not used thoughtfully. There's a bit of a tightrope walk there.
Okay, so let's start broad. When researchers just look at humor generally, without splitting it into different, types of jokes, what do they find?
Well, that's where it gets messy. It's really a mixed bag.
Mixed how?
So on one side, you've got quite a few studies reporting positive stuff, things like better classroom management.
Okay, so the class runs smoother.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
And also enhancements in, the students' learning processes, making things maybe easier to grasp or more engaging.
That sounds good. Like the fun teacher everyone liked who actually made you learn stuff.
Exactly, that kind of scenario. But then,
Always a but, isn't there?
there often is in research, other studies flagged potential downsides, like humor could lead to losing control of the class,
Okay. Things getting too rowdy, maybe?
possibly,
Mm.
or just generally disruptive. And there's also concern that important information might get overshadowed by the joke itself. Students remember the gag, but not the point.
I can see that happening. You're focused on the punchline, not the Pythagorean theorem or whatever.
Precisely. So just looking at humor overall,
Hmm.
it's complicated, not a simple good or bad.
Right. But the review didn't stop there, did it? It started looking at different styles of humor. That sounds much more useful.
It really is. This is where a more nuanced picture starts to emerge. The researchers looked at how specific ways teachers use humor might have different effects.
Okay, so what kinds of styles are we talking about?
One key style they highlighted is called affiliative humor.
Affiliative, like affiliation, building connection.
Exactly. It's that kind of humor used to, build rapport, create a positive atmosphere, make everyone feel included and comfortable. Think gentle teasing everyone gets, sharing funny, relatable anecdotes, that sort of thing.
Like a teacher laughing with the class, not at anyone.
That's a great way to put it. And the research suggests this particular style, this positive connecting humor, is actually linked to something really important:
Was sure.
increased engagement in deeper thinking among students.
Oh, wow. Okay, so making the classroom feel friendlier actually helps students think more critically.
It seems that way. The idea is if you feel more connected, safer, more at ease, you're perhaps more willing to take intellectual risks, ask questions, really grapple with complex ideas.
That makes a lot of sense. Feeling comfortable is huge for learning. But I'm guessing not all humor styles have that positive link. What else did they look at?
You guessed right. The review also mentions things like aggressive humor.
Aggressive, like sarcasm or...
Yeah, potentially sarcasm, maybe teasing that borders on mocking, putting students down, even if meant lightly. That kind of humor.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
And also something called course-related humor. So jokes directly tied to the subject matter.
Like a pun about mitochondria or something.
Could be, yeah. Or maybe a dry, witty comment about a historical figure. Now, for these types, aggressive and course-related, the findings were much less clear-cut.
How so?
Well, they were mixed, sometimes even contradictory. What one study found might be the opposite of another. It suggests these styles don't have a consistent effect. Or maybe their effect really depends on the specific context, the teacher, the students.
So like a sarcastic comment might be funny to one kid but hurtful to another.
Exactly. Or a course-related joke might land well if everyone gets the underlying concept, but just be confusing or alienating if they don't. It highlights the complexity, doesn't it?
It really does, especially with teenagers who can be, sensitive and are all at different places.
Precisely. Which leads us to another really significant point that the review flagged up.
Which is?
The lack of good measurement tools.
Tools to measure humor, like a joke-mometer.
Not quite. But tools to accurately measure the specific humor styles teachers of adolescents are using. And, maybe even more importantly, how the students in that age group are actually perceiving that humor.
So it's not just what the teacher thinks they're doing, but how it's actually landing with the kids.
Exactly. And the review basically says there isn't a really robust, validated tool out there specifically for this teacher-adolescent dynamic.
And why is that such a big gap?
Well, because without being able to accurately measure the different styles being used and how they're being received, it's incredibly difficult to definitively say, okay, this style causes this effect.
You can see correlations maybe, but not really nail down the cause and effect.
You got it. It hinders our ability to draw really firm conclusions about the direct impact of different teaching humor styles. We're left with educated guesses based on incomplete data, in a way.
Like trying to figure out a recipe without exact measurements, as you said earlier.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Now, the review also synthesized the findings from those 43 papers into 6 main themes. We don't have the specifics of those themes in front of us, but what does the fact they could identify themes tell us?
It suggests that despite the limitations and the need for more research, there are recurring patterns and areas of focus within the existing studies.
So common threads are emerging.
Right. Even if the picture isn't complete, these themes likely touch on, the types of humor used, the reasons teachers use it, the outcomes, both good and bad, that have been observed, maybe student perceptions. It provides a sort of framework, a starting point for understanding the current state of knowledge.
And it all circles back to why this is particularly important during adolescence.
Right, absolutely. This isn't just about was class fun today. It's happening during a really formative stage.
Yeah, those teenage years are critical for development.
Totally. Teachers' humor, used well, could genuinely help foster important social skills, academic confidence, engagement. But used poorly or perceived negatively, it could, unfortunately, potentially hinder that development or create negative associations with learning or school.
The stakes feel quite high when you put it like that.
They kind of are. It underlines the need for teachers to be mindful.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the main takeaway from this deep dive into the research?
I think the big picture is, yes, teachers teaching adolescents use humor frequently. It's common practice.
Right.
But how they use it and how students actually experience it is complex. We don't have all the answers yet.
And different styles seem to matter. Affiliative, that connection-building humor, looks generally promising, maybe linked to deeper thinking.
Yeah, that seems to be the most consistently positive signal in the research they reviewed. Whereas other styles, like aggressive or even some course-related humor, have much more unpredictable, sometimes even negative effects reported.
And a big piece of the puzzle missing is better ways to actually measure these styles and, crucially, student perception in this specific age group.
That's a key limitation, holding back a deeper understanding, for sure. We need better tools to really get a handle on the direct impacts.
So it's definitely an area needing more focused research.
Without a doubt. Especially research that differentiates between humor styles and really centers the students' perspectives.
Okay, so here's something to leave our listeners mulling over. Given everything we've just talked about, the potential benefits, the risks, the importance of this adolescent stage, what do you think are the most crucial things for a teacher to consider when they're deciding whether and how to use humor in their classroom with 11 to 18-year-olds?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's clearly not just about being the funny teacher, is it? There's more to it.
Much more. It really forces you to think about intention, awareness, and the potential impact on every student in the room. Definitely something worth pondering.
Indeed. Well, thanks for digging into that with us today.
My pleasure. Always interesting stuff.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.